Due to what factors do we observe in change in the structure of the language? Please, who will answer? Nigina Kosimba, your microphone is on. This question?
Yes. Maybe phonology of the language can be changed.
Okay, it can be changed because of what? This is the question. What can influence?
Because of
Please.
because of different declensions, maybe, or inflections.
Because of inflection.
Also, inflections can be.
Okay, inflections.
Yes.
Inflections of the language are changed.
Inflections are related to the grammar also.
Sorry? Regina, the question is inflections, sounds are changed because of what? What influences of these changes? What do you think? For example, the pronunciation is changed. In Russian, for example, in early period, they said different words, and nowadays they are using another words. What is the reason of these changes?
The history and the time, maybe. Maybe their development, and as we know, if we consider the family of language, we can see the difference in inflections. So we can say that according to the history, according to their distance or as they go, we can say about the differences in language.
You know, in modern English, there are a lot of French words. But when you see old English books, for example, Beowulf, when you read Canterbury Tales of Geoffrey Chaucer, you cannot find these French words. What is the reason of this change? The question is, what influences at work on language?
Political and social events influences on the development of language.
You are absolutely right, Nikina. Political and social events, different historical events influences the work of language, right?
Yes.
Mind it, and don't forget, I will ask them on midterm assessment, and don't forget to answer in this way. Well, the third question is growth and decay. When do we speak about the growth of the language, and when do we speak about the decay of the language? Decay is translated as гниение. Падение. What is the growth of the language and what is the decay of the language? This is a question on introduction to linguistics. You may answer if you can. Please try. Sabina, are you here?
Yes, I'm here.
But which is the development of the language, growth of the language and decay of the language? Падение в языке. What may it be? What is your supposition? No, any idea?
Can you repeat the question, please?
What is the growth of the language and what is the decay of the language? Yes, the third question. Growth and decay. What is the growth of the language and what is the decay of the language? Any idea about that?
Yes, maybe it is related to dead language and the exist language.
Yeah, very close. It's about the dead languages. What is a dead language?
Dead language are languages that don't exist now because they don't change and they do not, how to say, enrich their vocabulary
Hmm.
now.
You have very good memory. Uh, you remembered it from Introduction to Linguistics?
No, I have read your lecture.
I see.
Um,
Well, the growth of the dead language is when the language is not used, and living language is when the language is used. English, Uzbek, Russian are living languages. Latin is a dead language. What else is a dead language which is not used? Dead language besides Latin. Gothic, the ancestor of the English
Yeah.
language or Germanic language, Gothic is also a dead language, which because no one is using it, it is not used. Well, the other growth and decay is the one when we do observe change in the structure of the language. We speak about the growth of the language. When we observe change in the structure of the language, we speak about the growth of the language. When the number of the change is very, very reduced, rarely changes are observed in the structure of the language. We speak about the decay of the language. You know, these changes are closely related with the employment of the language. The more language is spoken, the more changes are observed. The less the language is spoken, less the changes are observed. So less the change, this is the decay of the language because number of the speakers of that language is being reduced. Less and less people are using the language, so this is a decay. More and more people speak that language, this is the growth of the language. The more people speak the language, the more changes are observed. And we speak about the growth of the language. Is it clear?
Yes.
Well, thank you, Sabina, for reply. And the first question is the principles of Indo-European family is very important for introduction, for history of the English language, because it deals with the earliest period of the English language history. To understand the history of the English language, we must have clear idea about what group the English language belongs to. The English language belongs to Indo-European family of languages. And you know, in the European family of languages is divided into 11 principal groups. One of them is what? One of them is
Germanic.
Germanic. The other is to which Russian belongs. The other is
Which Russian belong?
Russian belongs to which group of Indo-European family?
Balto-Slavic, yeah.
Balto-Slavic, that's true. Some sources say it is Balto-Slavic, some sources say it is Slavonic or Slavonian language, etc. All of them are true. And does Tajik belong to this family of languages in the European? Does Tajik belong? Anyone speaks Tajik? No? No one? Tajik also belongs to Indo-European family, and there is a group, the so-called Iranian group of languages, and Tajik belongs to this Iranian. So you see, Tajik, Russian, English belong to one and the same group. But Uzbek does not belong to Indo-European family because according to its grammar, its characteristics, Uzbek language differs from the other Indo-European groups. That's why it's not a part of the. Well, and the next question is discovery of Sanskrit is quite important for the history of the English language. Why? Because it proves that English language belongs to Indo-European family. The examples in Sanskrit prove that there is very close relation between Germanic languages and Indo-European and Indian. That is Sanskrit language. Look at the table. When it is compared with the ancient forms of the declension of the verb to be, the scientists saw similarity. Look, modern English am, Old English eom, Gothic in, Latin sum, Greek eimi, Sanskrit asmi. Look at the declension of asmi, asi, asti of Sanskrit, that is different forms of the verb to be in singular. And sma, sta, santi, and Old English sindon, sindon, sindon. Do you see similarity? Sma, sta, santi, sindon, sindon, sindon. And Old and Sanskrit asti, Greek esti, Latin est, Gothic is, Modern English is, Old English is. Well, all these forms prove that there is a relation between these languages. There is a relation between Sanskrit and ancient European languages. And the scientists put forward the hypothesis that Sanskrit scientists put hypothesis that Sanskrit must be the parent language of all the Indo-European languages. It's very important for us to know that the language which we are speaking now and the language which we are learning belongs to Indo-European family, and Indian languages are part of them. Well, the next proof that Germanic languages are related to Indo-European was Grimm's law. Then Rasmus Ras also made contribution to this law that when scientists compared Indo-European words with the Germanic words, they saw similarity. Compare Latin piscis or pes with modern English fish. There is a correspondence with pe and fe. And it is formulated by Jacob Grimm. That's why it's called Grimm's law. According to Grimm's law, in the European pair changed into fair in Germanic languages. Or the other example, in the European pair develops into fricative pair. Example, tres of Latin, Russian three, and English three. Or Latin centum, again, there is a correspondence, Latin centum and English 100, correspondence between care and hair. This is one example. Another example is cordis and heart, where care corresponds to hair. So this is formulated by Jacob Grimm to prove that Indo-European certain consonants correspond to Germanic certain consonants. That is, Indo-European pair, fa, and hair, pair, sorry, pair, and hair are found in Germanic languages as fricative consonants. That is, plosive corresponds to fricatives, like pe, fa, ke, ha, te, fa. This is the correspondence of the sounds. In the European pe, te, ke, Germanic languages, fa, fa, ha. Pe, of Indo-European, in Germanic languages appears as fa, or ke of Indo-European, in Germanic languages appears as ha. or what else? T of in the European corresponds to Germanic sound. And this regulation is called as Grimm's law to prove that in the European certain consonants correspond to Germanic certain consonants. In details, you will read about in the text of the lecture. If you have any questions about what is till, please, I will be happy to answer your questions. This is a slide. Another name for the Grimm's law is the first consonant shift. Consonant shift is change of the consonants. Many times consonants are changed in Germanic languages, and this is the first one. Do you have any questions? Do you have any questions? No, any? Okay. Don't mind about those who are passing behind me. If you don't have any questions, these are self-control questions. Please read them and be ready to answer them, because in midterm assessment you will be having these questions. Any questions, I will be happy to answer, no matter whether it is by Telegram or by nmoodle, bookdo.us, or during the what's this video conference. Shall we finish our lecture? Hello? Anyone here?
With your permission.
Sabina, do you have a question?
No.
Well, mind that our lecture is being recorded, and you will find it in nmoodle.us. If you don't have any question, we'll finish it. Thank you for participation. Take care. Don't be ill. Mind that coronavirus is somewhere around us. That's why always keep distance. Always use masks, which are quite effective way of protecting yourself from coronavirus. Thank you and goodbye.
Thank you.
Goodbye. Thank you.
Goodbye.
Goodbye.